a company that owns it, but I don't own the property. Actually, I own a part of the business, but I don't really own any of the property. And it looked very different today. And if I can figure out how to share images from I'm doing the webinar from my phone, Mark. I might try to see if I can do that because I took a bunch of photos here just in the last hour. So there'll just be some cool things to show today. If not, I'll show them another week. But it's been dramatically improved in some ways. In other ways, I think it's just is ugly. They've done some things that are not so great. Um, it's going to be a big time stone production operation moving forward. Um, it's weird, Mark, when you're on uh, the iPhone version of this, it asked me for, it didn't ask me permission, but it said, it's being recorded. It does that. But then it said it's being live streamed too, which I don't think it does that when you're on a desktop version of
Oh,
Zoom. So I
okay.
don't know that I've done a webinar from my phone rather than from a laptop in a long time. So that's why, um, like I said, I'm going to probably even walk around. This is actually um, where I go to church, where I did when I lived here, which is a very cool facility because we built it to be the a gateway to this little town. And I call it a little town. It's not that little. Hey, Robert. Um, and and it went from being when we first moved up here 18 years ago, probably 15,000 people to I think over 100,000 in 15 years. And the downtown area is still very um, small townish. And I think I will walk around down there a little after a little bit later here in the webinar as I'm talking with you guys, and I'll flip the phone around and show it to you. Just because it is this idyllic little town feel to it. I think it had two stoplights, maybe three when we first moved here, and now there's a bunch, and it's grown dramatically. But anyway, that's what happens with life. That things change. So, Mark, would you have the website available at least for a little bit later? Because I want to talk a little bit more about the eco intelligence, which we talked about a little bit when we started to work on the site about a year ago, but never
Right.
really what we're doing with it. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, we're coming up on year 8. Our anniversary will be in June. And I don't know what I just did here. I flipped the screen. What did I do?
Yeah.
Um, that's
Hi, you're
weird.
back.
Yeah, I flipped it. I was just trying to move the image and be able to see it bigger, and I wasn't able to do that. But anyway, um, we are our 8th anniversary coming up. And some of you that are on here today even have been around since we started. Robert has been on pretty much since we started, if not from right when we started in June of 2016. And the same thing in terms of change goes for our sort of the Institute of Economics and SEED, the Center for Economic Excellence and Development. Times are changing, so we're starting to do some things a little bit different. And two things that go along with this move that I just made to Idaho are that we're going to grow the environmental consulting side of our organization large again. And when I say large, I don't know what that means, but in terms of people numbers, but hundreds of people over the next 5 years, let's say, and 10 million plus in annual sales. And I'm going to be mentoring Erin, who you guys have heard on a number of different webinars, to run it day to day. She's in her early 30s and is perfect for it. And we're going to do it in a virtual way. There will not be brick and mortar, not be a headquarters, because I don't believe it's needed in the consulting world today. We'll have, as the name implies, the Environmental Professionals Network. There will be people who have their own small businesses being economic in all different areas of the ecological and environmental space that will come together and work on projects together. And then when they aren't working on things together, they'll either be doing things with other people or alone or not doing anything at all. Although I think that'll be a little more rare of not doing anything at all. And so we're going to grow that. And any of you in the community that would like to help us do that and be involved in it, we're going to be letting you know about the kinds of things we're doing in a bigger way. And you're going to have that opportunity to be a part of that. Secondly, we are going to open up several more sites that are what we're changing the name from regenerative communities, and I think that's still appropriate, to resilient, ecologically based communities. Resilient meaning if everything's good, either in the economy or in all kinds of things in life, then we're going to have activities and different things we're doing that are optimal in those circumstances and allowing people to thrive. But if things aren't so good, if there were some negatives that occurred, power outages, food shortages, worse things, wars, whatever, then those communities would also thrive in those circumstances. And we already have one of them underway in Colorado, in Idaho, and we have another one in South Dakota, and we have one that we're just getting started down in Texas. So we're going to be working on all three of those, and you'll hear more and more about those as time goes on. You've heard about both the Idaho one and the South Dakota one at times because we've actually had a presence at both those for some time. The Texas one is brand new, and it's about an hour and a half out of Dallas, and in a really beautiful location, surrounded by, it's a 80-acre parcel, a little bit smaller than what we would have liked, but it was what was available for us. It had all the other things we wanted. Surrounded by forested areas and some agricultural area, no really major cities right close to it, within a half hour, let's say. And it's got lots of really great characteristics. And we're going to be looking for members of the community that want to spend time there as we move forward also. So that's going to be a big effort on our part over the next several years, and it's the way I'm probably going to end my career. It's cold up here in the North Country or today, and even more like Deb just said, I just talked to her, like a winter wonderland in Boise, and so I was heavily dressed today. And I was going to show you real quick. I'll take this seatbelt off. I would need to have that on while we're sitting talking here anyway. But I'm representing, and Deb just got me both of these items of clothing and for a Christmas present. And they are for one of my alma maters, which is the University of Idaho. So let's go down there and see Idaho. Says University of Idaho there. And then there's a yellow So their colors at the University of Idaho are yellow and black, or gold and black. And I have that on today. And again, this is just a session where we talk about random topics. It's a little bit like a lot of typical podcasts that are out there. We don't have any special guests today. I would, like I said, I think I'm going to walk around a little bit. But I'm going to see if some of these images that I took, if there's a way I can share them, Mark. I'm clipping here and I can share. Oh, it says photos. Let's see. Oh, wow. Do you see that? They're up there.
It hasn't come up yet, but let me see.
I think I have to select them.
Yeah.
These first ones are going to be of the house that we lived in for a number of years and the remodeling that's being done in it. That is all actually very cool. So let's see if these work. Let's look and see if you see those. Yeah, I bet you do.
Yes, it has
Okay.
come up. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're seeing there is a combination of most of what used to be our living room, which is on the left side of this, and then straight ahead to that door was what was our master bedroom. And it was actually a very nice sized living room and master bedroom. And then on the right here was actually the kitchen. And you'll see that in a little better view here in a second. But we always thought about opening that room up like they have done now and taking the wall out and opening the master bedroom up into the living room. And that's what they've done. And this is a very cool look. So this is now, all I did is pivoted from where I was standing in that photo, looking now towards the door. So now you're seeing what was the living room. And pretty much that is to the south of where that is. And now it's a really beautiful big room. I took it from a couple of others, different angles. I'll show those in a second. But this is now what the front looks like. They actually have stained the house green. And if you remember, we had a bunch of stone out in the front there. They've changed it a little and made it flat right out from it. And then have this retaining wall of big blocks of stone. Obviously, this is all still under construction. There's a little different view in the other direction. And that's the screen door that's open there. So that's not the way that it would look if you close that. That's a door that's open in the picture there. And there's that look is similar, except that the house is a little different color. So that's the kitchen area where really the only thing was taken out there was well, all the appliances. They gutted everything, and there was another wall that would have been coming right over the top of where that heater is and going towards that refrigerator freezer. Then that was the dining room straight ahead from there. And then that living room area that we just looked at before is over here on the right. So now there's the really cool view inside the living room of fireplace, and it's going to be a great look. There's now looking back in towards the what will be the kitchen and sort of dining room area. There's a broader view of the now bigger living area. And there's the back side of that refrigerator looking from the hallway. And then that's just another one from the kitchen area. Oh, I took these in through a window. That's interesting. That's through screen. And then that's out in the front yard. There's that screen door that's open. Let me, then I'm going to take these out, get rid of these. So I'm going to stop sharing those. And then I'm going to share again, and I'll pick some different photos here. So I'll show you what some of the other play, because you guys have all that have been on here a while. I've seen this and it is really looking different now. Just going to pick some different images. Mark, any questions from anybody as I'm just going to take in a second here? And
Alicia has hand her hand is raised, so I
does
wonder
that
if
mean
she
she
wants.
wants to talk? If she wants to open up, she doesn't usually, but boy, we'd love to have her come on and talk with us.
Right, let's see if she wants to do that. So I've unmuted. Um, so Alicia, if you would like, you can go ahead and talk. If not, okay, her microphone is muted, so she must have self-muted herself. So yeah, it's the option is up. So if you want, you can unmute and ask your question. And
Of
she
course.
has, yeah, and she has like several links put into the chat. So
She always does some great stuff for us.
right,
This is something you guys won't even recognize if those have seen the farm, the ranch, really. This is the mobile barn that we have, and you don't recognize it now because this was all fenced, and there were 37 sheds up above it here, up the hillside. They're all gone, and I don't know whether they're ultimately going to take this building out also, but that's that building from the side. That building is the same. That's the greenhouse that we had that you've seen, and this is our our farm, Market Farm up above it. That hasn't been changed. And again, remember, it's dead of winter here. So things look a little ugly in the winter sometime. Gosh, that's the negative of being on the phone. Somebody's calling. I'm going to get rid of this. Sorry about that. So there's the greenhouse again. There's that mobile barn again from down the hill. That's outside in the back side of the greenhouse. They just have thrown some stuff out there that they're cleaning up. That's the backside. That's where we had aquaponic systems all along here. These are chicken nesting boxes, which were inside that greenhouse. There's the nesting boxes. Now that's looking down at the house, the sunroom and the house. There's one, that's the dog kennel. That's one of our pallets. That's the only one. I thought it was even gone potentially, but that's still there. Just a little different angle of it. That's just the stuff. There's inside the greenhouse. They've cleaned that out pretty nice. This is the Herdsire building, one of the other barns. That's a trailer that's still left to be sold. If anybody wants that, that's available. You can get that here from Colorado.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
And
That is great. That is really fantastic. Wow.
who is speaking?
It's Alicia.
Oh, cool. Alicia, you unmuted yourself. Thank you for doing that. That is so cool. Anyway, that is a trailer that we used for different things and it's available. But anyway, there's the greenhouse on the side from the house. There's the looking down. This was the barbecue area that we had built very recently and wished that we would actually have still in Idaho. We're going to build another one that'll be just like it. There's just a little different angles of it. Still, obviously, things to be cleaned up. That's looking back. This is where we had all kinds of, it's where our chickens were at. There were buildings all along the bottom side here. All have been removed.
so
What, Mark?
where's Sarah now?
Sarah lives in the city of Loveland. That's right by here.
Okay.
And she's not chicken farming anymore. She got so big that she actually overgrew herself and she really almost got forced to sell. just because of getting a little bit too big.
So Alicia says, I look forward to your weekly presentation. Keep up the good work. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Alicia. We love having you. You've been so great for this community. Just gonna keep scrolling. This is inside that Herdsire building. This would, when we were farming in it, this was all animal stalls on the right. And then on the left, where the 2 freezer units you see are, we did use that for storing feed, and there were freezers there. Those there were actually 3 more freezers in that room. And I don't know what they're going to use it for, but they're obviously going to use it for a different purpose. This is what's left of all of our fencing. We sold all the rest of it. That's our pond system down there, the bottom of the hill that you're seeing. Again, remember it's winter here, so everything isn't quite as pretty as it is. Here's just looking at some of the quarry area. That's called a cutting machine right there, the green thing. And then there's obviously a large loading unit, and there's just looking at some of the stone that's next to the Herdsire building. There's a different view of the Herdsire building. This is out in what was the pit where we stored all kinds of things. That is completely cleaned out now. Those walls around that are 100 feet high at the left-hand side of that photo, and those are pallets of stone that have probably been sold. That's why they're already in pallets and ready to go to their owners. And then there's more pallets on the right here that got shrink wrap around them that are cut stone. And this is the office. You've seen views of that before to the right, and a outhouse that's out there. And that's looking back up into the pit area, which we did an awful lot of work to get a lot of stuff cleaned out of there. And this is down by the pond, looking at the 3 remaining. We only have 3 shipping containers left. And I was actually down there meeting with the guy because he's buying one of the 3. So we'll only have 2 left that we haven't either already moved, but that are left for us to sell. So that's going to be it for the shipping containers. We're getting close to so there's what was our horseshoe pit down at the pond area. They're using it for storage and area. So I'm going to go to voicemail there. That's what's disturbing about doing it on the phone, Mark, is that you got calls that come in. All right. We're going to probably maybe shorten this a little today, and that I don't have a lot of other topics. I do want to show a couple more pictures here, though. I didn't know that you could do this. This is very cool. So I'm going to stop sharing. I keep putting my hand in front of the camera here. Ask questions, everybody, if you have them. I'm going to show a few other pictures here.
Yeah, and a bunch of other people watching. So if anybody would like to come on live, Robert or anybody else, Stephen, Marlene, I'm going to call out some some that are watching because they're regulars. So,
these are going to be from CES, which is where I was last week. And we actually did do, CES is the Consumer Electronics Show. We did do a little segment last Thursday from here. And there's just 5 or 6 of these. They were the 3 exhibits that I just thought were the most amazing. And I talked about one of them last week that we're going to be working with. So that's just looking from, where would that be? It's on one of the walkways. Oh, I know. That's going out to what's called the West Convention Center. That's downtown Las Vegas in the distance there. And that's the convention center on the right. And it's just a different kind of a little, it's not actually a road. It's actually just a parking area that during CES, they don't have people parking in. I saw a question from Merlin. The 2 units are both our grow units. One of them is our original one that you guys have seen. We've talked about that through the years. And it is 11, 12 years old now, and it's got an aquaponic system set up in it with all the controls. It doesn't have any insulation. But anyway, it's going to sell for 3,000. And then the other one that's going to be available is our unit that we put essentially siding on the inside that you can eat off of. We've got the high-end LED lights, and is the newest of the grow units that we built. That one's going to be a lot more expensive, about $20,000. This is the booth that we were most excited about, and look how really kind of low key and boring even their signs were and such. And this is Moss Air, and those are air treatment systems to be used in all kinds of dwelling situations where the primary air treatment is moss. And there's a whole long story here, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it today. But this is a Korean company that has made these. And one of those units, which is only about $299, incredibly good price, will treat the air in a 10 by 10 room for an indefinite period of time using this moss. This is a very cool food production unit that this one makes frozen foods. So those are freeze-dried ice cream in those little, what look like energy drink containers to the right. And you essentially put them in there, and you get ice cream coming out, and you can do a lot of other things with it. But it's made for commercial application. This isn't for home yet, but it's something we're excited about. We might become vendors for it. This is one. It's called Pawport, where these are remotely and AI operated dog doors to go in and out of your house. And this isn't I'm terrible when I'm at a show at taking pictures, but also really well priced, less than $500, 2 different sizes. This is the larger size that you're seeing here. There's the small one next to the larger version.
Beavers Point?
No, this is Las Vegas is where we're at here. Is where these are at. There's John Nillen in the photo there. And this is a guy that's got a smart ring. You guys have all seen that I have one. I got it on as I was blocking the photo. You were seeing it, but you asked about Vivo, so I'll get to that in just a second. But this is a new product of a ring, a smart ring that has a number of different sensors for things that are way beyond. That's the big theme that I saw, other than AI, at CES this year, was just how we're making huge strides for both health monitoring and health improvements through essentially electronics and all kinds of things. This is just a different one. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to look and see exactly which one that was. This is an app for your phone that is called InBody. And it's a way you can just by this is to where a software to manage things about you. I think that was the last one. I don't even know what that was. I didn't mean to add that one. Alicia, what were you asking about Vivos? We are working together with Vivos on a development there. There's the ring that I have. That is a smart ring. So that measures heart rate, body temperature, respiration rate, a whole wide variety of things. It's called an Aura. And there are now a whole bunch of competitors to it that are out in the marketplace also.
Yeah, before Apple Watches could do that, I think they still have watches
Yeah,
that,
they don't do all of the same kinds of things. They won't do
yeah,
respiratory readings, for example.
right.
All these companies are trying to figure out how to do more and more in that area. Let me just see real quick if there's another any other photos here that I'd share. I'll share this one real quick. Excuse me. I am scrolling here a little bit as I find something else to show you. These are just recent things that we've taken some images of. I think that's it for now that I'll show of those. So cancel on that. That works pretty cool. So any other questions or comments from anybody?
Yeah, there's one from Robert. So he said, has anyone attended the MU agroforestry symposium with the virtual option before? I was wondering about the okay, so produce so I guess he's wondering about the MU agroforestry symposium virtual
And that
option.
is, there's a bunch of agroforestry events occurring this winter, Robert. And I'll even just say I'm not even aware of what one that is. So it's not a good one for me to answer. Mark Shepard's doing a variety of agroforestry things at different locations, but I don't believe that's the one that you're talking about there.
Right. He said there was one yesterday on the 17th of January, and the calls got recorded on Zoom or anything like that.
Elaine Ingham's got a series of 4 webinars coming up late in January. It might be about a week and a half from now, that I would highly recommend everyone to look at if you can. And it's not just Elaine. It's going to be Elaine, several other of her staff and partners. So we'll try to get the links for those and send those out to everybody. What else, Mark? Any other questions?
Okay, so Robert says, okay, thanks. It was yesterday. I was wondering if it might be worth getting the recording. Okay, so
Oh, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know enough about it to know whether, but I'll check it out. I'll certainly take the time and help answer that.
right.
Right.
And here is Alicia with another question. March 12 to 14, Regen Summit in Chicago.
Yeah, and again, that's done by the group that we've interviewed a couple of their partners several times. And so again, a group we're huge fans of. And I'm going to walk around here just to show you guys where for years, for 18 years, well, actually not, because we didn't build this until more recently, 8 years ago, 2015. But this is a facility that that road right there gets 34,000 vehicles a day on it. It's what's called Highway 287. And those mountains in the background there is up where our ranch is, where all those images that you just saw came from. That intersection there is one of the most busy in the whole state of Colorado. Anyway, so this facility was built to be to where, as you see it from the highway, you're going to have a pond out on it. Just kind of walking and showing you certain things of it. So there's a blood donation going on today, but there's ways to use shipping containers for a whole variety of uses. There's now a little different view of that same highway, 287. I'm gonna go, if it's open, I'm gonna go inside here. So I don't think I've ever done a video from in here.
I know from the conversations that we've just been having about that you've got your fingers into lots of different aspects of urban permaculture.
It's all locked, so I'm not going to get in there. I didn't think so.
It's in my
And Robert has, excuse me.
Go ahead. I think Alicia was saying something.
No, I didn't get that, but I see that Robert has a comment. So Robert says, Vandana Shiva will be with Elaine next session.
Well, and Vandana is actually going to be with that's correct. That is those series of 4 webinars. One of them is going to have Vandana in it. Yes, that's correct. As well as several other of the staff. If you have the link to that, Robert, if you wouldn't mind posting that, then the group will have it. That'd be great. Because we'll put it up other.
Yeah, I saw an email sent. It was sent to me, but I guess it's sent to everybody who subscribed to her.
So it's about a minute-long drive here, and I'm going to leave this, and I'm just going to keep talking, but I'm not going to concentrate. So you're probably just going to see pictures of the steering wheel and other things. But I'm going to drive and just drive down to the downtown of this little town. You guys you'll enjoy this. This is a little piece of cold. Darn, sorry that this thing mutes itself. Now it actually went to my my vehicle. It just automatically went to there. I don't even know why.
So this is Audi, right? The one you're driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty fancy dude. or
Right.
gal or whatever however you genderize a vehicle.
Uh-huh.
So we built this place out a little bit into the country because we knew that very soon, and it's taken a little bit, but there's a public hearing notice going, a sign right over here. There's going to be 1,000 homes in this field right here, right in front of me, this shows you how this area is growing. And it's not why I moved to Idaho. There are a lot of other reasons why we moved, but it was a little disturbing that this is getting as big as it's getting because so many people are moving here. This is the little place where I have bought fuel for so long. It's just amazing. That's Idaho Fish and Game. There, Colorado, I mean, Fish and Game. So now you're kind of looking into the little town. There's football fields over there on the right. You can see some light stations up in there. And when I first moved here, there was this light here up ahead of us, but the one behind me wasn't there. And then it was just tiny. But the little downtown street area has still maintained its kind of small town innocence. But the rest of it has just gotten huge. Like I said, in 17 years, gone from 15,000 to over 100,000. Mark, any other questions or comments? While
Yeah,
I'm
I see.
driving, I'll be done here in just a second.
Right. I see several comments from Alicia, and these are all some links to urban ag and discussion on urban ag, vertical farming, permaculture, urban ag. So these are all resources that she's sharing.
By the way, got to see this on the left over here. That is the last remaining A&W restaurant in the state of Colorado that has car hops. So you can drive up and people will serve you on roller skates that are car hops. Just
Wow,
the
that's
last
still
remaining one. So now I'm driving into the old downtown area that I'm going to park right over here by this park and then walk around a little bit.
and A&W has good root beers. Right.
They do. That's what they're known for. Did you ever have any back when you lived in the East Coast, Mark? And
Yeah,
root beer?
I tried, yes, once. I didn't like it. It was too sweet.
It is. Yeah, they are sweet.
Yeah.
Is root beer in your country less sweet?
No, we don't have, people
You
don't
don't
know
have
what, yeah, people don't know what root
All
beer
right,
is.
this is going to go away from the other audio. I think it'll still be there. Can you still hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
All of a sudden, the audio has gone away for me. I don't know whether you guys are hearing me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you hearing me?
I'm making sure I'm taking my key with this with me as I walk
Yeah,
around.
you don't want to lock your keys.
I gotta turn my speaker on here so I can hear. You guys can hear me, but I can't. Oh, here we go.
Look at the
Can you
temperature.
hear me?
Wow.
70, 70,
That's better. There we go.
Yeah.
So
78.
this is they change these sculptures every year. So this is just brand new. This has been here since I moved. So
Nice ice skating rink.
wow, this is pretty cool. This is a little dog called Harley.
Mhm.
That you can read this little sign. They actually have a weekend where they celebrate Harley. He was a Puppy Mill surprise. These are brand new. These were not here when I moved 3 months ago. These statues, they were different ones.
Okay.
This is your old style city park, right by the kind of main street of this little town.
So okay, is the image frozen? So
Oh,
looks
is it?
like, yes, looks like your
Is it?
video is, yeah, video is,
How about now?
yep, it's working now.
Oh, you know what? It was because I was switching from the phone. I'll go back and show those. These are brand new statues. This is one of the founders of here, Doc Fickle. So a little interesting story is that there's a brass foundry near here. And after World War II, this became the brass, basically sculpture capital of the world, this area, because they used the brass foundry that was in the area to make shells. And after it was over, they encouraged sculptors to come here to make sure they could keep it open. This, by the way, is not a brass. This is wood. This was carved right here. That's an eagle. Isn't that beautiful?
Right.
It's an eagle up against a tree. So the guy carved it. This was a dead tree. So look at those are actually the roots in the ground. That's not, they didn't just bring that in and set it here like a statue. It was the tree.
And Alicia is asking, is this Boise, Idaho?
No, this is Berthoud, Colorado.
Right.
So these are 1800s vintage houses here. This one that right behind this tree that was probably built in the mid 1800s. This one right over here also. For 17 of the 18 years that I lived up in this area, right beyond this house here, you see this little building that was a carriage house way back in the day. And it was my barber shop. There was a one chair barber down on the very bottom of this building. And the family who owns it remodeled it now into another house. So it's actually being built. You can see there's a saw out in front of it. They're working on it. But this is downtown of this little town. All these older buildings, and Marley and Moose, name of that store. Berthoud Physical Therapy. So I'll just get out to where you can kind of see the old style Main Street. Anyway, it's kind of cold out here. I'm gonna actually walk back the other way because it's getting cool. So tomorrow, Mark, we have a very cool webinar. Why don't you tell
Right.
everybody about our speaker tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow is Victoria. She's a chiropractic and holistic health expert. So it's going to be really nice. So everybody, you're going to enjoy this. So Victoria is going to be at 2 o'clock Mountain Time.
Okay. And Lisa is actually going to be sort of overall coordinator. She's a friend of Victoria's, but I actually might be in a position where I don't know that I'll be available. So, because I'm going to be driving up to South Dakota tomorrow to Vivos.
Okay,
So, but I'm going to try to be available for us.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
I am getting cold and I don't have any other thoughts for today. We're going to cut this a little bit short.
Right.
Unless we have other questions and comments. Sure enjoyed being back with you. We haven't done this for several weeks now.
Thanks.
Right.
But we're going to start getting to where we do it every week again.
Wow.
So, so this is Berthoud, Colorado. So Robert says, nice to see Boise. No, no, this is not
Nope.
Boise.
It's birthday.
It's Berthoud.
I'm back for a 4-day trip. This is where
Right.
I think it froze up over here, Mark. So you'll get to see the statue of this little dog named Harley, who was saved from a puppy mill.
Yep.
That's the sign. Did that come across before, or had it already?
No, we didn't see. It was frozen at the other statue that you were
Right,
showing.
there's-
Yeah.
There's Harley.
There's Harley, yes. Right.
And
Is that a
he's
Chihuahua?
black. Yeah, well, he's a little bigger than he's kind of a Chihuahua mix. He was
Right.
a little larger than the Chihuahua. This was the original statue that we saw.
Mhm.
All
Alicia
right.
says-
Well,
Excuse me.
what questions do we have? And we'll probably end on this.
No, she's saying that a lot of cracks on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's
so-
it's old.
right.
All right. Anything else anybody has?
Nothing. Nothing from the audience.
Appreciate it,
And
guys.
have a great rest of your day, Wayne.
Yeah, you guys, everybody also, and we'll maybe I'll be on tomorrow, but I hope all of you can show up to see Victoria. And Alicia, thanks for unmuting yourself. That was
You're
great.
welcome.